Hey guys, it's November 18th, 2017. Um, it has finally stopped raining, and yeah, it's a good day to do the video updates. Right here, we have the wildflower. You can see the plain corpses is still growing and flowering. And the crimson clover isn't really growing anymore, and I don't think it's gonna really flower, but right here I see one flower though. You can see like the flower is just partially open, that little red thing over there. So yeah, everything is just very slow now because of the temperature, the low temperature. And then here we have the succulents, pretty much the same. This one too. The Venus flytrap has stopped growing. I think it's going dormant pretty soon. Lily, pretty much the same. This one, same thing. I think it's going dormant too. Peony, it's dried. The VV plant is still pretty. It's evergreen, so it's just gonna probably like stop growing, but remain the same color. Yeah, it looks pretty healthy. And then right here we have the artichokes. You can see it has kind of stopped growing. You can see all the new growth is stuck over there at the center. And then that's the same for this other one too. Same for these other plants. You can see the clovers isn't really growing anymore. The catnip is growing very slowly. And right here we have the saffron crocus. You can see the sprouts. A lot more sprout than last week, so they're definitely coming up, which I'm very happy about. And then the raspberry, you can see it's definitely dying back. A lot of leaves has fallen. It's pretty empty now. Blueberry, pretty much the same. Most of the leaves has fallen on this bigger blueberry, but there's still some. The rhubarb, it's totally gone now. Not much to talk about. Strawberries, as you can see, it's still there. I think it's a evergreen variety, but it's not really growing or flowering. But there's still a few flowers and new leaves, but it's not growing as much as during the summer. Lacy Facilia is still here, flowers still here. Overall, these aren't really growing anymore either. You can see it's not flowering or getting bigger. And then the my hydrangea transplants are doing well, I think. Some leaves are kind of dying, but overall it's still here, so I think it's adjusting well to the new condition. But yeah, it's not the season for it to grow, so it's probably gonna go dormant, and we'll see some more growth next season. And then this smaller blueberry plants, you can see more like most of the leaves are gone. The asparagus is definitely dormant now. I can cut away these leaves pretty soon, or today. And then the smaller hydrangea plant, you can see some of the leaves has started kind of turning yellow, so it's going dormant pretty soon too. The large hydrangea plants, you can see the beautiful red and yellow leaf colors. Very bright, and the flowers are just kind of getting dried. As for the herbs, lavender still flowering. Pretty nice. I like the purple flower. And again, I don't know if it's the right season for it to flower, but the plants, I think itself is pretty healthy. You can see. And then the rosemary, still growing, not as much. And some part is kind of turning yellow, which is a little concerning because they're supposed to be evergreen. And you can see right here, there's some leaves fallen on the soil, so I don't know what's really going on. It looks healthy though, but I could be wrong. And for the vines, I let the soil dry out kind of, but the morning glory is still pretty perseverant. You can see it's still flowering, but most of it's kind of dried out, so I would expect to put them away pretty soon. Dahlia is pretty much dried too, so I can put them away like today or something too. The calla lily is still dying back, a little slow, but most of the leaves are not bright green anymore, so yeah. And as for the indoor garden, there's not too much to talk about. The orchids are pretty much the same. I've been letting them grow under these grow lights, so they're looking good. This it's a bit dry, so I probably had to water the indoor plants sometime this weekend too. But yeah, everything is pretty much the same. The grow lights is still functional. And yeah, over here the orchid, the fern is all doing pretty well. And then let's look at this snake plant. I don't see any new growth yet, but the leaf is still here, which means it's still healthy. We just have to wait for the new growth. And I put the Hoya plants over here to get the grow light, like that, yeah. And then the string of pearls, it's still here. Not sure if this transplant is going to be successful though. But so far it seems promising. You can see right here the end of this vine. The new growth is still healthy, but then on this one the end is kind of drying up, so that one could be dying. I'm not sure. This ficus bonsai tree is doing well. Don't really see any leaf falls, but this is just all the leaves it has shred in the past few days. A few. The pine tree is looking healthy too. Right here the succulents looks pretty much the same. And then this orchid is gonna flower very soon. Thought it's gonna flower this week, but I guess not yet. But you can see the flower is definitely coming up. The dark red color is showing. Spider plants, the same. Fern, the same. And then this fern over here, as I mentioned last week, this new leaf coming up at the base of the plant is definitely getting bigger. You can kind of see it's like covering up more of the more of that part. So yeah, it's cool. And then right here the succulents are all pretty much the same too. So yeah, I have a lot to do for the garden, clean up and plant new stuff. Oh, and don't forget the hanging plants. The prayer plants, it's healthy, so it's adjusting well to the new condition.